Hey everyone, Jake here from Made for the Range. Welcome back to the Made for the Range YouTube channel. Today we've got another driver comparison, and this time it is the Cobra Darkspeed lineup. So I have played all of these heads on course for at least a couple of rounds this year. The one that I've found myself mostly into is the X, which is considered the middle model in the lineup, kind of the mid-launch, mid-spin head, super forgiving. And then of course we have the LS head in the bottom and the Max head at the top, which is your most forgiving, slightly draw biased option up there. We're gonna hit all three, and then as a bonus we also do have the 8-degree LS, which is actually a different head. It's a different shape than the 9 or the 10.5 LS, so it's kind of a like 3.5 heads in the lineup, you could say. That 8-degree head was developed with help from Kyle Berkshire, of course, as well as some other tour feedback. So let's get into it. We're gonna hit 3 balls with each one. We've got Bushnell Launch Pro here to help us out with some data, and then we're gonna be using Bridgestone BXS golf balls to get this data. Starting off here with the X head. Turn that one over just a little bit. Small bump in ball speed at 156. Spin came down to 2,500. And that's honestly, of all the heads in the lineup, this is, for my game, this is my favorite because of those numbers right there. The spin consistency on this head is really good. It's super forgiving for what the head is. It's a great shape behind the ball with a very neutral setup at address behind the golf ball. So it doesn't feel like you're gonna hook it or you're gonna have to play that big cut. Very neutral head, and adding in that back weight this year, we've got a front and a back weight. You can mess around with that spin and a little bit of that launch as well on the X head. So let's go into the LS head now, just the regular LS head, and then we'll move up to the Max, and finally we'll hit the 8. All right, so this is the LS head now. A little bit deeper of a head profile, a little bit shorter front to back this way as well. So just a little bit more compact to your eyes at least, which is, you know, players that are playing this sort of driver kind of prefer that. We do have 2 front weights and 1 back weight for adjustment. I've got everything just as it comes in the neutral setting. It does sit just a tiny bit open compared to the X, but I guess that's what we would expect out of this model. And finish on about as perfect of a ball flight as I can muster up. 157 ball, 2,400 spin. So on the good hits, we're definitely dropping in spin somewhere between 250 and 300 revs for the LS head over the X model. So next we're gonna jump the other way, and we're gonna go into the Max head, which is the highest, most forgiving, sort of higher handicap-ish head that they have in the lineup. All right, so at address, it's a much more elongated shape, a little bit shallower of a face, a big, comfortable design meant to help players and really understand that the player that this is developed for is looking for more forgiveness, more MOI, and a little bit of help moving that ball away from the slice side, regardless of whether you're left-handed or right-handed. It does have 2 weights here. There's one closer to the heel and then one all the way in the back, trying to help with those launch conditions still. So let's give it a ride here. I actually have played this head for a couple of weeks this year just because of how fun it was to just kind of swing and not really be worried about what's going to happen, just like that. It's a nice high, albeit spinny ball flight, but it's exactly what this head was meant to do. And that ball did not leave its straight line, just slightly moving to the left side of the hole here. Definitely sits a little bit closed at address. That one spun up to 3,500. We're still at 157 ball speed though, and that's really important. Very close to the same exact ball flight. Stayed at 3,600 spin, 156 ball speed. Let's take one more. Let's have a little fun. Maybe try to just rip one here with this guy. And that's where the fun of this driver really comes out. I swung very out of control with that guy. Yeah, we got all the way up to a 111. We've been cruising around 108. Ball speed jumps up to 158, and the spin stayed right there at 3,500. So it is a higher spin head. It is a more forgiving head. It is a head that is going to try to help you mitigate that slice or giant fade, if you might want to call it. I think this is my favorite head in the lineup. It's not the head that I'm gonna play in the lineup, let's be clear, but I think it's my favorite head because it's so good at exactly what it is meant to do. And it's really fun to play with something that you know that no matter what you do, your swing is gonna develop a relatively good outcome on the golf course to help you keep those scores down. So last one is the 8-degree LS head. I'm telling you right now, I am gonna loft it up, because if I don't, we're in big trouble. All right, so moving into the LS 8-degree head. So this one's a really interesting shape because it's bulbous and kind of that player's preferred like pear-shaped head, if you will, but it's a little bit elongated. It's actually kind of sharp in the back there, and I'm imagining that's an aerodynamic thing. Again, this was built with a lot of feedback from Kyle Berkshire, so this was made to be the long, low-spin bomber head. So let's give it a whirl. I did loft it up because I can't put you guys through what you would see if it doesn't. So let's give her a whirl. Definitely a small, compact package behind the ball. That's definitely not the max head, I'll tell you that. Really awesome, stable flight. Got up in the air really easily. All right, 156 ball, 2,900 spin. That one's kind of interesting, actually. Let's see what else we can get out of this guy. Same thing, super stable ball flight, working left to right, kind of a big tour cut. It's actually a lot easier to launch than I remember in previous testing. Same thing again, 157 ball, 2,700 spin. All right, so trying to turn that one over a little bit, which is not easy. There we go, 157 all the way down to 2,100 on the spin number. So for me, not ideal. I don't want to see that. But if you need to kill spin, this is your Cobra spin killer. Again, it's actually way easier to launch than I think I give it credit for. It's not a super unforgiving head by any means, just because of the aerodynamic package, slightly deeper face and a little bit shorter heel to toe. So if you're somebody that does miss up and down on the face, this could be a really good option for you, especially if you're somebody that wants to work the ball a little bit, or you just really like that kind of tour cut shape that people are always after. So really awesome lineup here from Cobra this year. I was excited to test them. Again, I've had these all on course at least a couple of times this year, and this data shows exactly what I've seen on course. It's really no different. So I'm always happy, obviously, when the data comes out. Again, I think that max head is my favorite in the lineup just because it's so good at what it does. But for me in my game, the X head is definitely where it's at. Stay tuned for more Made for the Range videos. We've done more comparisons out here today, some Callaway stuff, some TaylorMade stuff. We're about to hop into some brand new stuff as well. So subscribe to the channel, make sure that you're staying tuned for everything that we've got coming in the future.